Hey everybody, how's it going? What I want to do, I want to start with the question, what does it mean to have missional worship at your church? Is it even possible to be missional in your worship experience? Well, I hear people say all the time that the church has a mission, but my favorite saying is the mission has a church. And I've asked my buddy Nick Cunningham, who's the teaching pastor here at Ginghamsburg, to just dialogue a little bit with me about mission in worship. And is it even possible? What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think it's impossible to not have missional worship. I think one of the things we believe here is that mission isn't just something that God does; it's a part of who God is. He's a God who sends. God sent His Son. Jesus then in turn sent the Spirit, and the Spirit in turn sends us. And so, if you want to follow that train of thought, we are missional people. We are sent people. And so, I think if we're gonna worship a missional God, then we have to engage in missional worship. Personally, I think maybe one of the reasons why we have a tendency to get hung up on this term missional worship is because we tend to only think of mission in terms of like serving projects. It's just social kind of justice causes, feeding the hungry, all of those sorts of things. But that term missional encompasses both evangelism and social action. And so I think worship, though, plays a role in both of those. In terms of evangelism, I think we're missional, and the fact that we're incarnational. Our worship sort of embodies the gospel and communicates to people to where they're at in a way they can understand, that it can impact their worldview. So we tend to structure worship incarnationally in that it reaches them where they're at, but then it pulls them closer to Christ. But I also think worship can be missional in a sense that it's calling our people to something. We don't just gather on the weekends for a worship celebration just to sit around and feel good about ourselves or to learn some advice that could lead to a better life. We gather on the weekends to encourage, but to mobilize and to send ourselves out afterwards.